The truth is that every word, every name of a movement, every idea behind a movement just makes more sense in Chinese. Yes, Chinese can be challenging, but just having a basic grasp can really add a new dimension to your training. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I fell in love with Wushu when I was 19 and subsequently started learning Mandarin Chinese. My goal was to better understand Wushu, be able to train in China, and train in a predominantly Chinese-speaking environment. Though to this day, I'm still far from fluent, I am proud to have been able to comfortably solo travel in China as well as train in Chinese-speaking environments. I studied Mandarin because I was interested in Wushu specifically, but everything I say in this video I think will apply if you're studying Wushu's cousins, Tai Chi, Shaolin Kung Fu, even more traditional styles like Bagua, Xingyi, etc. If you're interested in styles like Wing Chun, Choi Li Fut, or Hung Gar, those are probably better understood through Cantonese. I personally don't have any experience with that, but I'm pretty sure that the relationship between the language and the martial art that I'm talking about will still apply. So why should you be interested in learning Chinese? First and foremost, studying Chinese will enhance your technical and cultural understanding of martial arts. The truth is that a large number of concepts don't have good translations between Chinese and English. My favorite example is qi chen dan tian. You can say in English, lower your breath or breathe from your belly, but it just doesn't mean the same thing. Qi is an important concept in Wushu. You need to control your qi to get through a difficult form. But what is it? It can be translated as breath, but also means vital energy or life force. Dantian in English is just a place on your body. It is your lower belly a little bit below your navel. However, in Chinese, it has a lot more meaning. Hey, editing Rebecca here. So I made a mistake when I was originally defining Dan. Dan is the refined essence of life energy, and Tian is like a rice field or a place from which things grow. And so Dan Tian is the place in your body where the essential life-giving energy is restored and refined. And then Chun, Qi Chen Dan Tian. Chun is like to sink. So rather than just breathe from your belly, you take your breath and you let it sink down to your Dan Tian. As you can see, no simple, easy, perfect translation in English. Being able to hear and respond to qi chen dantian is so much more meaningful and evocative than lower your breath. I do think that when you understand it, your body responds differently. It's not just a mechanical cue, it is a reminder to be and to be feeling a certain way and breathing from there. Another example that I love is qing ting dian shui, which is how you describe a dian or a point of the straight sword. It literally translates to dragonfly skipping across the water. I love that it poetically communicates a feeling and an image of just exactly how the movement should be done. Other examples are as simple as jiao, which means to add oil, and you say it to cheer somebody on, like go, 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 add oil, stoke the flame. Or chirku, which is to eat bitter, and you might use it to describe really hard training. There are many examples like this where the Chinese, it just hits different and it hits exactly right. Really, the ideas and the feelings behind what you're doing in Chinese martial arts are best described in Chinese. Another reason to study Chinese is that it will open doors for you. In general, it is not easy to find a good teacher. However, many teachers, their first language is Chinese. They are most comfortable speaking Chinese. And so having even a little bit of language understanding will expand the number of people that you could potentially train with, as well as increase the amount of information that you can learn from them. Additionally, it is a truth universally acknowledged that if someone is sufficiently obsessed with their art form, then they want to train that art form in the origin country. You may be thinking of going to China to train, in which case the need for language skills is obvious. Nowadays, tools like Google Translate and WeChat are actually quite excellent for translating communication. However, when you're actually training, you're in an environment where you won't be wanting to look at your phone all the time. When I was training in China, I spent some time at a school that was very remote, and most of the people at the school who were running the school spoke Chinese. Another group of English-speaking foreigners were also there at the same time, and even with my rudimentary Chinese skills, I was able to help translate a little bit between the groups, which was greatly appreciated. Fewer blank stares, more effective training, everybody happy. Being multilingual in these contexts is extremely valuable, and in a culture where relationships are so important, believe me, you want this. One final reason to learn Chinese is that you might just really enjoy it. People train Chinese martial arts for a lot of different reasons. Maybe they are interested in cultural heritage or philosophy. Maybe they see it as a form of self-expression, or they love the aesthetic beauty. Maybe you want to be part of a community or to practice self-discipline. Whatever your interest may be, unless it's purely for fitness, it's likely that studying Chinese will help serve these goals. Much like martial arts, Chinese is a challenging and beautiful art to pursue. It is infinitely nuanced. And yes, it is really hard, but you like doing Chinese martial arts, so presumably you like doing some hard things. All right, you're probably thinking, sure, Rebecca, I would love to know Chinese. That sounds great, but isn't it really hard? I really don't have the time for that. These sounds seem so difficult. There are X's and Q's and tones. And yes, okay, I get it. Chinese is very difficult, especially for native English speakers. However, one, I don't think it's as difficult as a lot of people fear that it is. And two, a lot of mileage can be gained by just learning the basics. I plan to make a different video on how to learn minimally viable Chinese, but long story short, I do think that it follows the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, and that 20% of the effort will get you 80% of the results. So what 20% of things should you work on? I have 3 suggestions. The first is the most important, and if you're gonna only take away one thing from this video, do this. Learn basic Chinese pronunciation. Mandarin uses a system called pinyin. Every sound has an initial, a final, and usually a tone. Yes, there are a lot of sounds, and yes, this will take some work, but once you have this foundation, you're set. My suggestion is to spend the first chunk of your learning just working on pronunciation. Don't worry about the meanings of anything, just be able to make these sounds with your own voice. This will probably take a lot of back and forth, ideally with a native speaker. It may be a little bit annoying at first to have to go back and forth. You say the sound, they say the sound, you say the sound, they say the sound, and you keep being wrong again and again. This is just part of the learning process. You have to do this some amount of times, then I promise you will get there, and it is extremely worthwhile. Before I studied Chinese, I remember I had the hardest time remembering the names of things as well as people's names because my brain just couldn't hold the sounds that it didn't understand. You've probably run into situations like this, and if you're training Chinese martial arts, you will continue to run into situations like this. My advice to you, learn some basic pronunciation. You will be very happy that you did. Once you've done that, I have 2 more suggestions for you. The first is to be able to introduce yourself without any hesitation. Just being able to say, hello, my name is Rebecca, I'm from the United States, I want to learn Wushu. This will get you so far. You will refer back to this time and time again, and being able to know it off the top of your head, this will save you a lot of trouble. Finally, you will want to know some basic words and phrases specific to martial arts. I've put a link in the description to my minimally viable Wushu Chinese training vocab list. It covers the basic things, the names of body parts, the names of movements, and some common corrections that you'll hear, like too much of this or not enough of this. I genuinely think that if you have basic pronunciation, you can introduce yourself, and you know this training list, you will be able to get pretty far in a Chinese-speaking training environment. From there, of course, you can continue to learn more grammar, learn more vocab, you can enhance your understanding of the language and the culture. However, just being able to do these few things will get you really far. Okay, so yeah, if you love Chinese martial arts, you should consider learning Chinese. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You don't have to become fluent tomorrow or be able to read ancient texts. Just having a basic understanding of the sounds and some key phrases will get you really far. It will deepen your training, it will help you connect with peers and coaches, as well as give you access to the whole world that exists beyond translation. On top of that, I genuinely think that you might really enjoy the process. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Keep training and 加油!